nesting of subqueries. Check out this example. This has a query which is actually a subquery or an expression in itself. Inside its where clause it calls another query, and inside its where clause it calls yet another query, and so on and so forth. You can basically go through this nesting process in different parts of a query to a lot of different layers. I'm not sure of the number in Oracle. There's a limitation. It's something ridiculous like 1,000. You don't want to get to that level. I hope you don't get to that level. But the point is, what it allows you to do is it allows you to break a query up into manageable parts. If you can imagine a query with 15 tables, a great big huge join, and if there's complexity in there, it's very difficult to organize all that stuff. It's not like a modular program where you say one comment goes after the other and each one is dependent on the other, and each command will not execute until you've got a result from the previous command. In SQL, it all happens at once, so you've got to have the entire query in your mind, pictured, running all at the same time. Quite difficult to get right sometimes. It can take a long time. It's a lot of work. Using a breakdown like this, you can actually use this in production code, or you can use it to build the queries up and get them right to start with, and match the explain plans with the final join clause query, multiple joins, and use this as a way to build and develop code if you like. It's an option. As of Oracle 9, I used to use this type, or Oracle 9 and before, I used to use this type of query to actually tune large joins because the optimizer was not that sophisticated. As of Oracle 10 and 11, the optimizer is a lot more sophisticated, and it tends to make this method of tuning obsolete. But it's a very good way of breaking down a query and understanding how it works and the best way to execute it. So it's useful to understand how to do this. It's pretty simple. All we're doing here is we're taking a query here that pulls the state code from the country, and we appear to have an error. And the simple reason for this error is that there is no state code on the country table. So let's go back and fix the script. So what we'd actually do is we're trying to select something from the venue where the city ID is in, select city from state, where state code is in. We could just change this to the state. This should function perfectly normally. And we obviously probably could put the country in there as well. And yeah, there we go. Now, as you can see, I've just tested that query. Now I can go and test this query. See what I'm doing? I'm actually testing pieces. And, okay, hold on. Let's do this. Select city from here. Check this piece. And it won't allow me to just run that. So, and I think I've got the tables all wrong. City ID does not exist in state, obviously. I must have made a change to this. It doesn't. I made a change to this somewhere along the way. City actually does include the state code according to this. City ID does not include, obviously. Well, duh. I just got this the wrong way around. Oh. City ID. Alright, let's go and look at my city table. City ID, state code, name. Select city ID from city. Back. From city. This is what I meant to do. So let's run this query by itself. Everything's hunky-dory there. I can run it like this without the line terminator character. And if you see what it did, it highlighted that, but then it backtracked and decided to do that. Now I can do both of these and run this. Not quite sure why it highlights down to there and then goes backtracks. Obviously works with these the expression delimiters with the brackets. SQL developers are funny little beasts sometimes. So we know that all these queries in here work. Now we run this one. You see what I've done? I've basically broken it down to pieces. I put errors in there to show you that I'm fixing each piece. Now I could go into here and say where country ID in And here, so select, what is it, country ID from country. Put this bracket down here. I could put these brackets up here actually, just to show you some variations. Now this query here should function just fine if I do it inside the brackets. Run this. Goes back to there, outside the brackets. You see what I'm showing you? I'm showing you a breakdown. I'm executing the pieces individually. So I could join all the tables together, but then I can't test it like that. So it's partially a testing method. It's a method of running and creating queries that's very close to an object method of programming, say for Java programmers who are used to objects. Here we've got a subquery embedded, nested within the column list of a select statement. And here we've got a subquery embedded within a count function. And here we've got something in the from clause, which obviously we can do the same thing as we're doing here with the from clause that we did with the where clause here. We can break it down, execute something from, then pass it up, pass it up, pass it up, layer upon layer upon layer, if you really want to do it to that level of detail. Here's another one with multiple elements inside the select column list. That's enough about nesting. Just remember that it's an interesting trick to use. It can be very useful in some circumstances.